In hindsight, I realized how weird that is. Today, I have a confession to make. I want to talk about self-confidence. How do I sound angry? Like, I'm not talking about those. Drinking tea in the mug that I designed myself. I hope you like it. I'll link it in the description box if you're interested. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a confession to make. There's been a pressure that I put on myself as a dentist to present myself in a more professional light. Even on my YouTube channel, it's been tough for me to just speak in general because I'm just so aware of how I should speak. I want to be a little more raw and authentic with you guys, and it's just something that I've been trying to bring myself out of that whatever hat that I wear. And today I'm going to try being a little more real. Part of that may be actually more refreshing and more honest, and that's kind of why I wanted to start a YouTube channel, so I can share my thoughts in a very more like genuine manner. Oh, this is hot. Maybe I should add some water. I'm also wearing this t-shirt today. It says bloom from within, and I thought that was so beautiful and it really resonated with me. All right, let's get straight into it. Today, I want to talk about self-confidence. I like to think that I'm pretty confident. I think it shows in the way that I carry myself. And a lot of shy girls have come up to me and asked me so how do you do that? And I had to really think about that. It's yeah, how do I do that? I think there's also negative gender stereotype on this, on confident women as either being too bossy or too much or too obnoxious. For example, a lot of the females will say something along the lines of, I'm sorry to bother you, but can you do this for me? Oh, sorry, but would you be able to do this for me? No buts. Nowadays, I've been a little more direct. Yeah, why am I 눈치 buying? 눈치 means kind of being too aware of maybe what other people are thinking. Why am I being really overly socially conscious to a point that's kind of debilitating for me? I've been doing more of can you do this for me? If not, no worries. Easy as that. I don't say sorry, I don't say bother. Plenty of people bother me in that category, and it's not bothering. So if there are any girls that are DMing me, you're not bothering me. Please don't say that. But I'm really talking about more being authentic with yourself, and I just know who I am. And because I know myself, I am confident in what I do, what I say, and what I believe in. So that's something that I want to share with you today. I wasn't always confident. To backtrack, I wanted to go back to my middle school days. When I first came to the United States, I changed a lot. I had to speak on behalf of my family. My parents didn't really speak English, so I had to translate everything for them. I came here when I was 11. Back then, I was still this very polite, shy girl. And all of a sudden, my parents were can you express to this insensitive person that we're upset and you need to sound angry? I'm how do I sound angry? I just kind of got used to being able to speak up for my parents. I had to call Verizon and fight with them on the phone why we were charged extra $5 on the bill. As small as that sounds, to an immigrant, you just don't want to be taken advantage of. I think a lot of immigrants would be able to relate to this experience. I'm a 1.5 generation Korean American. I am a citizen, but I came here at age 11, meaning that I speak enough Korean and I speak enough English, let's hope. And hopefully my English is better than my Korean now, because I feel like my pronunciation is going south on both languages. I digress. My life in Korea was so comfortable. I had a lot of friends. I think I pretty much thrived in Korea. And then when I first came here, I was a new girl and I just didn't know how to adjust. I spoke some English, but it wasn't great. And all of a sudden, I had to take care of my parents and catch up to the education system here in the US. But I think because of that, I am who I am now. Actually, I'm kind of glad that it turned out this way, because I can't imagine my life being polite to a point that I can't speak my mind anymore. There is a point to why I'm sharing my middle school story, so please bear with me. When I first came to middle school, the first day of lunch, some people were nice enough to invite me to their lunch table to eat with them. But I said no thank you, and I remember eating my tuna sandwich inside the bathroom stall because I was prideful and I didn't want any pity invite. That was kind of the life that I've had, and I eventually did open up to those nice people that were my friends. Now, aside from those first few days of lunch, I had the hardest time saying no. Being new to this school, to this country, I just want to be liked and accepted, and that was something that was so hard for me, because back then, when I tell people that I'm Korean, no one knew where Korea was. They asked me either if I'm from China or from Japan. And it was really hard for me to like educate them, like, I'm from Korea. So imagine my surprise now with like Korean culture blowing up left and right. I appreciate the Asian representation on media, and I love that people love the Korean culture, the food and the music, and even like movies and shows now, and I'm very proud. But back then, nobody knew where Korea was, and I had to really like tell them I'm Korean, stop calling me Chinese or Japanese. So there was this one girl in English class who's always borrowed my cute mechanical pencils and pens that I kept in my pencil case. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll pull some like random pictures here. Like, they're very cute and they're precious to me because I didn't know where to get them in the US. But she would borrow it and she'll break it. And then she'd be like, sorry, can I borrow another one? I just had the hardest time saying no because like she was very well liked in the class. But at the same time, my precious stuff were being damaged. And I had the most stress going to that class, not because of the class itself, but because of the girl that was like pretty much taking advantage of my kindness every time. And I just didn't know how to say no. So I did a lot of self-pep talks in the mirror. You can watch my Saturday Diaries video. I do a lot of that mirror self-talk. Look at myself in the mirror. Gloria, 서영아, this friend is not worth the drama, and this is not worth it. What's the worst that can happen? Like, she'll get upset or she will like tell the class. But then I thought to myself, well, if you do tell a class, the whole class knows what you've been doing. So that's not my fault. That's your fault. So in the end, you're gonna make yourself look bad. So after playing out all that scenario of potentially she hating me, I decided to take that chance because it was better than the mental stress that I was experiencing on top of everything else I was already going through. So I remember finally one day when she turned around, before she can even make out the words, like, can I borrow your pen? I was like, hey, I'm gonna give you an analogy. And I realized the poor American girl really didn't understand what I was talking about. But this is what I told her. So imagine that you're going to a war and you have no weapons and you have no shield. What are you gonna do? You're gonna die. In hindsight, I realized how weird that is. And I told her, so if you don't bring your pen or pencils to class, it's the same thing. You're not prepared. Before you can even have time to turn to borrow from somebody, obviously that was a very weird analogy, and she frowned and she was like, okay, and like didn't say anything after that. What mattered more to me is that she stopped asking me. And oh my gosh, like it felt so great. I felt so empowered. I was like, oh, there's power in saying no to things I don't like. I think I just learned early on to say no. I know a lot of people have fear of rejection. I do too. And I think I just had to tell myself like some things are not worth all that trouble. And I just say it, and if I lose a person, then I lose a person. Fast forward to now, I'm 30 years old and I've achieved a lot, but I've failed more. I've made countless mistakes. I've beaten myself up for every words, every actions, and every mistakes I've made. But you know what? They're all part of who I am right now. I didn't pretend that they didn't happen. I've owned up to those mistakes. I've processed them. I know what not to do, what to do, and what to avoid. And then you grow up thinking that you're a pretty decent person, you're good. You don't really run into any drama that makes you feel like you did anything wrong. And I thought like that too until like mid-20s. I was starting to notice all the things that I was saying and doing that I was not proud of. And I was like, wait, I thought I was a good person. But like, why is this person telling me that I've hurt their feelings? Why is this person not liking me? Like, what have I done? Like, am I not good? What the F is wrong with me? Eventually, over time, you realize that you do make mistakes and you're human. It kind of conflicts with your idea of who you are. In my mid-20s, everything that's been accumulating has finally blown up. I was like, oh my God, like, I don't like myself. I thought I was this, and I'm not that. So many things I'm not happy about in my like career, to like my personality, to my friendships, to my relationships, like everything. We call that the quarter life crisis. And this is the tough self-love that I gave to myself that I offer as a solution to maybe anyone that's going through something like this. So being real with yourself, what does that mean? To me, it meant that I had to embrace both my good and bad, because I can't be all good. It just makes no sense. Like, I may intend good, and sometimes I don't intend good. Gloria, like, why did you talk behind this person's back? Like, don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't do that. But then I do that. I'm pretty sure there's many people like that who do that. So I learned to embrace the good and bad. Okay, Gloria, you're pretty loud. Sometimes your words hurt others, and you aren't always right. I've accepted the things and like general themes about myself that I was not proud of. But I also have to learn to love myself, where I also embrace the good part of me. I'm like, okay, like what am I good about? I'm honest. I think my openness helps people be a little more true to themselves too. I've learned this phrase recently, but I wear my heart on my sleeve. And I really genuinely have learned to love people the way that I really do want to love them. And I think they feel it. And I think I've been able to build a very supportive and encouraging community, even on social media, because I think it's just who I am now. I own up to my actions and my words. And if I feel like I've made a mistake, I do my best to address it and fix it and try to make it right. And actually being able to accept that I am both good and bad helped me feel balanced, and it made me feel whole. So collectively, I learned to respect what I am like, who I really am, and act accordingly. So I have my values of respect, honesty, sincerity, integrity, and perseverance. And if something is not aligned with my values, I need to assess to address it in a way that is loving to myself, but also to others. I was beating myself up for a lot of the actions on my past that were not good. Okay, like those are spilled water. What can you do? So I try to set a new track record for myself. Apologize to people that I've hurt, be a little more receptive to feedback. I started doing little things every day that will make myself feel proud of myself. Whether that's working out or walking every day, putting in 1 hour of intense studying or reading a book or something. Like if I feel like I've been a bad friend, you can make up for that. Can buy them a meal or write them a card of appreciation. There's so many things you can do. And instead of looking at my past and beat myself up, I try to kind of like replacing old files with the same name on computers. I try to do that. It's like, okay, do an upgraded version of whatever the actions that you wish that you have done. But sometimes it's not wise to go back way in the past and then try to make it right. I think you do have to know like what is better for you future-wise. It doesn't mean like you start talking to your ex, be like, hey, I'm sorry that I said those things. Can we make it work? Like I'm not talking about those. Those little things that I've done every day over time accumulated into a new track record. And I found myself proud of who I'm becoming. I've been working on this and I'm seeing little progress. I've been trying to be a better friend to those around me. And I'm starting to see that becoming more of a mutual, meaningful relationships. I've been asking God for me to see myself the way that God sees me in His righteousness and His grace. That picture is becoming more clear. Over time, I've learned to not beat myself up, but actually be able to build myself back up. I can really confidently say that I am liking the person that I'm becoming now. That's something that you don't really hear every day on YouTube, but I like myself. You don't have to do like big things for you to feel that. I think it's just little practices every day. Whether that means you talk to yourself in the mirror, stop comparing yourself to those like beautiful people around you. You're beautiful in your own ways. God wants you to see that, like own up to that. Okay, you look good today. Like those are the things I tell myself. Am I being too real? There's power of internal affirmation that you give to yourself. When others affirm me, that's external validation. I'm able to actually take in and say thank you for that because I agree. Instead of saying, oh no, that's not who I am. It doesn't make them feel good, but now they think that you don't agree. So now they're like, oh, so she doesn't see herself in that way. When others criticize me and I agree, I can actually challenge myself. Like, okay, maybe you should think differently and like to try this out and like work on myself and improve. When others criticize me and I don't agree with them, I don't feel the need to prove them wrong because God knows what my intentions were and what my actions really truly meant. Like I want to clear up any misunderstanding. I can validate myself and it is pretty empowering. And because of that, I think I don't really shake much to what other people say. They do affect me. I do still go home and process what they've said, what that meant, how should I make sense of this, give people benefit of doubt, give myself some love, also give myself some tough love sometimes. And because of that, I live pretty carefree. And most importantly, I'm so comfortable being myself in my own skin, whether I'm by myself or with others, because I'm not proving anybody wrong. I'm already proving every day to myself. If people say anything that's kind of like weird, I'm like, okay, that was weird. And like brush past me and I'm like chugging along. If you've liked this video, please hit that subscribe button, like this video, and comment down below. If anything that I've said today has resonated with you, I would love to hear from you on what you're thinking and maybe share your own tips on how to be comfortable in your own skin. I want to film more content on just self-care, self-improvement, self-love, and also be able to like navigate life together. I don't know who else is a 1.5 Korean American Christian woman living in her 30s who is a dental resident that likes doing all other things like social media stuff and just living life. And I guess that's me. But that's my unique experience. But I think there's a lot of things that a lot of people can relate to. Well, I hope to see you guys next time too. But for now, bye.